As the gears of understanding slowly click into place within Mr. Lin's mind, he unlocks the enigmatic mechanics of dreams themselves. A revelation dawns on him, an opportunity to engage in an intimate discourse with his own subconsciousness. In response to the curious inquiry posed by the elven lady, he doesn't waver. With a candid smile, he proclaims himself to be a dreamer. The resonance of truth sweeps through the air, acknowledged by the knowing twinkle in her elven eyes. Her words paint the canvas of understanding as she affirms what he's suspected all along. He is immersed within a dream, a realm where reality and imagination dance their age-old waltz. His own recognition of this dreamlike existence aligns like a puzzle piece in the grand scheme of things. But amid the contemplative atmosphere, a spark ignites in Mr. Lin's mind. He marvels at the lady's profound grasp of the dream's architecture, realizing that he's not the sole orchestrator of this vivid spectacle. His subconscious projections, as intricate and nuanced as they are not solitary entities. They are shaped and mirrored by the perceptions of the dream's inhabitants. His mind flits between introspection and observation as he considers her perspective. The authenticity of his previous response becomes a beacon of curiosity, and he can't help but invite her to shed light on her own identity. A playful grin dances on her lips as she spins the ethereal tapestry of words to reveal herself as silver, an elegant mirror of his earlier response. Curiosity drives him, like a persistent whisper in the depths of his thoughts. With a subtle flourish of words, he navigates his way toward unraveling the mystery of her lineage. Yet, her cryptic reply, accompanied by the flutter of her lashes, tantalizes rather than enlightens. A puzzle piece drops into place, only to reveal that the image remains a mosaic of intrigue. But the waltz of conversation continues, a dance of minds across the cosmos of dreams. She counters his inquisition with a question of her own, and in the delicate dance of words and gestures, a soft blush paints his cheeks. Unexpected, the counters move, yet he's left intrigued, captivated by her charm and the acrobatics of her wit. As her eyes close in the midst of laughter, her words linger, a testament to her enduring presence in this realm of reverie. She confides in him, painting a picture of beauty intertwined with eerie silence. As the tale of her existence in this dreamscape unfolds, he becomes privy to the delicate notes of her solitude. Puzzlement clings to his thoughts like a shadow, curiosity making itself at home within his mind. He wonders if loneliness might be a companion to her, a sentiment woven into the fabric of this dream world. In his mind's eye, the scene aligns itself with his romantic inclinations. He sees himself as a harbinger of healing, a guide with words as his balm, a protagonist of compassion, even in the realm of dreams. The intersection of his desires and the realm he traverses becomes a tableau of possibilities. Amid the layers of his musings, a truth emerges, a connection he can't deny. Just as in his waking life, he finds himself drawn to the art of aiding others, of bringing solace through words and actions. The ancient adage that helping others brings joy echoes in his thoughts. A mental nod, and he readies himself for matters more profound than simple conversation. With the dexterity of a maestro conjuring melodies, he bends reality to his will. The fabric of the dream folds and reshapes, his form transforming into a symbol of purpose, a business suit, emblematic of meaningful dialogue. Silver is the audience to his transformation, a silent witness to his intent. "Please, have a seat," he invites, extending a hand. It's a gesture laced with openness, an unspoken invitation to connect across the ethereal space that separates them. Her fingers intertwine with his, and the touch, though colder than anticipated, echoes with a tenderness that's not lost on him. Yet, his intent remains steadfast, to understand, to unravel the truth behind this dreamscape that binds them. With the careful steps of an investigator, he journeys into her loneliness, her isolation. No one has ventured into this realm before him, a solitary existence she has embraced. Rapunzel, imprisoned in her tower, dances through his thoughts, an echo of isolation that he can't help but draw parallels to. This dream, a fairy tale with a poignant twist, where the roles are not predefined, and the tapestry of narrative is woven from the threads of their minds. The weight of her solitude settles upon his heart, and like a composer crafting harmonies, he identifies the chords of her emotions. Compassion colors his observations, his words a gentle touch on the canvas of her thoughts. He traces the contours of her pain, attributing it to the absence of understanding and companionship, a formula that amplifies her suffering. As she reveals her philosophy, he draws on the wisdom of generations past. Man thinks, God laughs, a simple adage, yet she brings new shades to its meaning. The words take on a new hue with her presence, and he considers how the divine might intertwine with her contemplation. He speaks of the divine, of higher powers whose presence might soothe her restless thoughts. There's a blush, a faint flush of cheeks that responds to his words. She labels his approach romanticist, a term that swirls in the air like a playful wisp of wind. The admission escapes his lips with a smile, unburdened by pretense. Romanticism, a compass that points him toward deeper truths, and in this enigmatic conversation, a bridge forms between them. The shared understanding becomes a tapestry of connection. threads that link their minds across the expanse of dreams. Silver, ever the mischievous sprite, alludes to the notion that perhaps he's the deeper thinker of the two. Her playful jest and his own modesty form a dance of contrasts, a camaraderie painted with the strokes of banter. But as the symphony of their exchange swells, Mr. Lin musters the courage, that fragile ember of vulnerability, to extend his hand once more. The anticipation hangs in the air like a suspended note, and he voices a heartfelt request. "Will you be my friend?" The words, offered with both earnestness and trepidation, cut through the dream's fabric like a clarion call. Surprise etches across Silver's features, her response caught in the crossfire of unexpected emotion. His plea, so sincere and unadorned, lands like a pebble in a still pond, creating ripples that reach the shores of her understanding the weight of isolation. The apprehension that accompanies it, Mr. Lin offers friendship as an antidote to the monotony of dreams. He envisions their stories intertwining, like vines that sprout amidst unchanging scenery. His practical side surfaces, and he contemplates recommending soul-healing books, leveraging the dream's malleable nature to conjure the perfect tome for Silver's heart. Her heart, touched by his gesture, responds with its own offering. The treasures of her realm, once veiled in mystery, are now unveiled. Gold, the fruit of dreams, and a gift she bestows upon him. He accepts it, not for its material value, but for the intent and emotion that weave it into the tapestry of their connection. The golden apple finds its way into his grasp, and as his teeth sink into its flesh, the dream begins to shift. Boundaries blur, reality and reverie start to melt. Uncertainty blossoms, a question mark that unfurls in the corners of his mind. Is he awakening? The dream's fabric begins to fray, and in the midst of dissolution, her touch anchors him. Silver's arms embrace him, and the fragments of the dream twirl like confetti in a breeze. She leaves a playful mark, a bite on his ear that's more than just a symbol of their connection. It's a promise, a wish whispered into the winds of their parting. And then, as the crescendo of the dream reaches its zenith, it shatters like glass. The fragments scatter, like stardust on the canvas of the universe. A dream's end, a chapter concluded, but a connection remains, a promise etched in the hearts of two dreamers to reunite and converse, within the bounds of a dreamscape yet again. Amidst the deluge of rain, Mr. Yuan stands on a street drenched in dim, diffused light. A cigarette smolders between his fingers, each puff a moment of introspection. He gazes into the veil of the rain, pondering the course he's chosen by allying with Helix. Regret swirls in the currents of his thoughts, a cloud that veils his mind, though not the only cloud in his life. Betrayal hangs heavy in his history, like mist clinging to a forgotten forest. The choice to stand with Helix, he acknowledges, might not have been the wisest, but it's a bitter fruit sweeter than the alternatives he's tasted before. A rationalization unfolds, stitched with threads of self-preservation and necessity. The tendrils of his memory weave back, conjuring the ghosts of betrayals past. He recalls a time when the bonds of trust, once sturdy like ancient oaks, crumbled like brittle leaves in the wind. His former teacher, the embodiment of wisdom and guidance, fell victim to his own hubris. Mr. Yuan had wielded betrayal like a double-edged sword, piercing not only the heart of his mentor but also the unity that bound his fellow student. A bitter cocktail of guilt and necessity fueled that act, just as it does now. But within the symphony of the rain, an enigmatic voice pierces the veil of his contemplation. A voice that echoes with secrets, a voice that seeks answers. Questions emerge, like shadows cast by the streetlights, as it probes the depths of his understanding. What makes this mission unique? Why did it warrant his personal attention, despite his injuries? Mr. Yuan's voice, resonant with resignation, paints a picture. Lady Jie, a figure now eclipsed by newfound strength, presents a threat too formidable to be overlooked. Even their combined might stumbles before her newfound power. And then, the memory of old Wilda, once a pillar of their unity, now incapacitated and absent, takes root in his thoughts. The deduction, like a seed taking root, suggests that the old magician is perhaps nursing his wounded pride in the shadows. The voice's words, like a curtain slowly rising, reveal a resurgence. Old Wilda has surfaced. He's been spotted in a bookstore on 23rd Street, an unassuming place woven into the fabric of the city. Miss Jie accompanies him, adding another layer of intrigue. Yuan's suspicion surges like a torrential river, fed by this new information. A bookstore, a seemingly innocent place, now assumes a pivotal role in their adversary's newfound power. Remember your mission. The question hangs like a blade poised in the rain-soaked air. The voice's inquiry delves into Yuan's role, his task to investigate the bookstore's enigmatic owner. A puzzle piece of understanding slots into place as he contemplates his duty. And then, the voice, like a shadow dissipating, departs, leaving him to grapple with the complexity of the situation. The scene shifts, like a camera panning across the city, to the enigmatic agent who finds himself at the threshold of 23rd Street's bookstore. An unassuming facade, a place of stories, it stands as a testament to the notion that appearances often belie the truth. He steps in, and the absence of magical energy is like a whisper of intrigue in the air. Shadows cling to his form, an ally he wields with mastery, concealing his movements like a phantom's dance. His skepticism unfurls like the pages of a forbidden tome as he questions the reliability of his superior's information. Yet, despite the initial tendrils of doubt, he ventures forth. A gargoyle perched, its stony gaze reminiscent of one old Wilda had bestowed upon Mr. Lin, serves as a breadcrumb of connection, an echo of history, a thread leading him through the labyrinth of the unknown. The dance of exploration takes him upward, to the second floor. His senses, honed by experience, detect the faintest hint of a magical aura, a whisper of power within Mr. Lin's room. It's not a blaze, but a flicker like a candle's glow in the dark. The temptation to dismiss it as a simple mission tugs at his thoughts, but his instincts whisper otherwise. A door opens, like the cover of a book revealing its secrets. Before him lies Mr. Lin's bedroom, and the scene unfolds, a tableau etched with disbelief. Mr. Lin, once serene in sleep, now lies amidst vines the color of blood, a sight both shocking and incongruous. But the vines, like tendrils of malevolence, surge to life. Before he can react, they strike, tearing through the air like the lash of a whip. Pain sears through his senses, an explosion of agony that catches him off guard. Escape becomes his instinct, a primal urge that propels him through the door. Fear courses through his veins, startled eyes wide with terror. The tendrils mayhem behind him, like a storm's wrath, but he's managed a narrow escape. Back at Helix's headquarters, time and silence weave their patterns. Yuan, now distant in thought, contemplates the interval taken by his subordinate for a seemingly non-violent mission. Suspicion brews like a storm within him, whispering that the bookstore isn't the benign haven it appears to be. His eyes, despite the rain, fall on his own shadow. An inexplicable impulse guides his fingers, and like an incantation whispered to the heavens, fire ignites. Flames curl and dance, casting their own shadows on the wet canvas around him. It's a spell, a tool of revelation, an invitation to reveal that which conceals itself. And then, amidst the rain-drenched night, a figure emerges from the shadows, an intruder, a puzzle piece that doesn't fit. Yet, the rain, a shroud woven by the heavens themselves, dampens his spell's potency, blurring his vision. The ambush, like lightning uncoiling from a cloud, strikes. The infiltrator, John, emerges from the shadows, a figure of surprise and danger. An explosion blossoms, a tempest of sparks and sound. Yuan's arm, injured in the clash, throbs with pain. But Yuan's resolve, like the storm that rages around him, stands unshaken. He reveals his preparedness for this betrayal, and the dance of retaliation commences. John, like a thread unraveled from the fabric of loyalty, stands before him, poised for conflict. Their clash, like the clashing of titans, is a symphony of power and strategy. Attacks and defenses intertwine, each move a calculated step in the game of survival. John bears the brunt of Yuan's retaliation, injuries etching their mark like lines on a parchment. Yet, the symphony's crescendo holds an unexpected twist. John's heart, the epicenter of his existence, transforms into a vessel of an entity that defies comprehension. A beast, a creature of untamed power, unfurls from within John, a tempest that charges forth with primal fury. Yuan, once sure-footed in his understanding, stands bewildered and injured. The world he knew shifts like sand through his fingers, and the beast's charge becomes a wave that engulfs him. Pain, confusion, and disbelief intertwine, a tapestry of tumult that ensnares him. Back at Helix's headquarters, news spreads like wildfire. Yuan's death, a grim testament to the brutal encounter that unfolded. His subordinate's voice, laden with gravity, relays the details of Yuan's final moments. A mangled body finds the color of blood enveloping him, akin to the scene that had greeted Mr. Lin. The betrayer, John, and the enigma he harbored, a creature that defied comprehension. Helix, like a master strategist, contemplates the puzzle pieces that now lie scattered. The creature, the puppeteer that manipulated John, is a riddle that defies the constraints of understanding. But even amidst the uncertainty, Helix aligns with the Council of Black Mages. Their decision, prioritizing the hatching of the magic mirror's spawn over delving into the secrets of the bookstore, is affirmed. Helix's voice, a blend of power and determination, underscores his resolve. The bookstore's owner, a force to be reckoned with, is now illuminated on his radar. The tapestry of his plans, intricate and enigmatic, unfolds. He swears to protect his ambitions from all disruptions, regardless of the nature of the entities that stand in his way. From the realm of dreams, Mr. Lin awakens, the tendrils of his subconscious relinquishing their grip. Contentment envelopes him like a gentle embrace, gratitude flourishing in the corners of his mind. The Dreamcatcher, an enigmatic gift from old Wilda, is the sentinel that guarded his slumber, weaving a tapestry of restfulness through the night. It's as if the strands of dreams themselves have woven a cocoon of tranquility around his senses. His thoughts, like footprints in the sand of memory, tread back to the elven lady of his dreams. Her ethereal presence lingers, a whispered promise of connection yet to be fulfilled. He savors the anticipation of the night's return, when sleep will once again open the door to the realm where reality and fantasy converge. As dawn awakens the world around him, Mr. Lin's feet touch the ground, and the embrace of his dreams gradually relinquishes its hold. The rituals of the day beckon, but his mind, a canvas painted with the hues of his dreams, remains imbued with the magic of the night. However, the ordinary and the extraordinary coexist in the realm of the waking. Mr. Lin's reflection greets him from the mirror, a canvas upon which unusual brushstrokes have been cast. A curious revelation awaits him. As he parts his lips to brush his teeth, the discovery is unveiled. The mirror becomes a witness to a minor alteration. 8 teeth, new and unexpected, take their place alongside the familiar. The specter of the demon, a presence that hovers between realms, whispers of possibility. Is this change a mere quirk or a whispered blessing? The significance of the number, 40 teeth, an auspicious number in Buddhist lore, dances before his thoughts like a flickering candle. But curiosity doesn't tether his thoughts for long. Mr. Lin's mind, ever the voyager, turns to the concerns of the mundane world. His bookstore, a haven for stories, beckons. The thought of new customers entering its threshold stirs anticipation, like leaves stirred by a gentle breeze. Yet, as he opens the door to the day, the rhythm of reality falters. The neighbor's usual cacophonous news broadcast is absent, a jarring silence that paints questions on the canvas of Mr. Lin's mind. Concern becomes the hand that guides his steps, leading him to the door of the perplexed neighbor. Fear, like a storm, clouds the neighbor's eyes. Apology mingles with terror, his words a jumbled tapestry of confusion. The neighbor, caught in the grip of an enigma, trembles like a leaf in the wind. Mr. Lin's voice, like an anchor, reassures, unraveling the knots of misunderstanding. Understanding dawns like the first light of morning. The neighbor's fear, a misconstrued reflection of Mr. Lin's own concern, becomes clear. The inquiry about well-being, misunderstood as an accusation, had spun the threads of panic. An understanding nod, an assurance of normalcy, and Mr. Lin leaves, intent on turning confusion into cheer. Gifting becomes the brush with which he paints understanding. A token, a gesture, to mend the frayed edges of apprehension. But the world, like an ever-unfolding manuscript, holds surprises in every line. A ring, like a note of curiosity, echoes through the air. The doorbell's chime heralds the arrival of new footprints, new stories. Excitement courses through Mr. Lin, like ink spilled on parchment. The door opens, revealing a new chapter, and there she stands, an enigma that defies expectations. Knight Joseph's daughter, a figure woven from the threads of history, stands before him. But disappointment and confusion paint her features, a portrait of expectation falling short. An unusual request, like a riddle poised on her lips, leaves Mr. Lin puzzled. Arm wrestling, an activity unanticipated, becomes a piece of the puzzle he's yet to decipher. Her demeanor, well-mannered yet unconventional, paints her as a brushstroke of paradox. Her attire, like pages of opulence, reveals a background steeped in privilege. Mr. Lin's mind, ever the sage, becomes the loom upon which understanding is woven. The resemblance, like a thread stitching her to Joseph, strikes a chord of insight. The whys and wherefores, like compass needles, point in various directions. Questions, like stars in a constellation, gather in the sky of his thoughts. And so, the inquiry commences, a gentle dance of words that seeks to pierce the veil. Motives, like whispers, emerge, and in the dance of conversation, threads of understanding emerge. Defensive walls, like fortresses of emotion, stand erect, guarding the heart's secrets. But her challenge, like a gust of wind, shifts the tides. Arm wrestling, an invitation to test not just physical strength, but perhaps something more. In her grip, Mr. Lin senses a force, a pressure that isn't merely physical. Something's amiss, a chord of dissonance that reverberates through the symphony of their interaction. Questions remain, like footprints in the sand yet to be washed away by the tide. Her connection to Joseph, the puzzle piece that may hold answers, emerges from the shadows of suspicion. The tapestry of her response, a reaction woven with threads of confirmation and hesitation, unveils a truth. She is, indeed, Joseph's daughter. Understanding dawns, like a sun rising over a previously obscured landscape. Joseph's military history, the echo of his choices, find resonance in her odd behavior. A realization blooms, a key that unlocks the door to comprehension. But the dance continues, like a river that winds through a valley of intrigue. Arm wrestling, an unexpected competition, emerges as the stage for understanding. Mr. Lin, ever the guide, seeks to provide a channel for her frustration, a constructive outlet for emotions held captive. The match commences, a tableau of strength and determination. But surprises await, like treasures hidden beneath the sands of expectation. The girl, a portrait of astonishment, is defeated in an instant, her expectations shattered like glass. In disbelief, she stands, like a traveler who stumbled upon a hidden oasis in the desert. Mr. Lin's strength, like a curtain lifting, reveals a truth she hadn't foreseen. A smile, like a sunbeam piercing through clouds, graces Mr. Lin's lips, an emblem of the unexpected turns that life often takes. Still grappling with the aftershocks of her arm-wrestling defeat, the girl's thoughts whirl like leaves caught in a tempest. Disbelief clings to her like a shroud, as if reality itself has performed a somersault before her eyes. The echoes of her inner turmoil, a whirlwind of emotions, resound like distant thunder. Observing Mr. Lin's genuine excitement, a realization dawns like a ray of sunlight piercing through storm clouds. His pride, a glow that emanates from his eyes, becomes a mirror reflecting the genuine nature of his triumph. In her bewildered state, the girl struggles to reconcile the man before her with the powerhouse of strength she had just lost to. Yet, frustration and anger bubble like molten lava beneath the surface. It's a tumultuous mix, a cocktail of emotions that seethe within her. The eruption within her heart, the fiery declaration that she could have vanquished a dozen grown men with the very strength he wielded, is a testament to her disbelief. The kaleidoscope of memories twirls like leaves caught in a gust. A flashback to her childhood, a time when her physical prowess outshone even the older boys, casts shadows on her current predicament. How is it possible? How has a man who exudes the air of an ordinary bookstore owner managed to seize victory from her grasp? Amidst the tumult, Mr. Lin's voice persists, a melody that dances through the air. His words, like gentle brushstrokes, commend her strength, yet the lens through which she hears distorts the meaning. Sarcasm becomes the prism through which his genuine praise is fractured. As if trapped in a maelstrom, the girl navigates the sea of emotions that crashes against the shores of her mind. Trust, like a sandcastle, crumbles beneath the waves. Beneath the layers of her emotion, a kernel of realization takes root. He's merely patronizing her. The tendrils of frustration tighten their grip, anger bubbling like a cauldron over an open flame. Mr. Lin, like a guide in a labyrinth, attempts to navigate the treacherous terrain. Playful fingers extend, poking at her head in a bid to bridge the gap. But her reaction, exaggerated and unrestrained, draws lines of exasperation across his features. A new emotion takes root. Perhaps she needs a lesson in humility. And so, his voice, like an echo of reason, speaks to the caverns of her fury. The arm-wrestling match, he asserts, is but a footnote in the grand chronicle of life. A playful poke, an attempt to ease the tension, underscores the futility of allowing a single competition to dictate her emotion. Yet, the girl's retort, like a whip crack of emotion, reverberates through the air. Her reaction, exaggerated in its intensity, leaves Mr. Lin with little choice. He deems it his duty, a responsibility stitched with threads of goodwill, to offer her a lesson in perspective. Her path, he muses, has led her astray, and it's his duty to illuminate an alternate route. Her anger, like a storm's fury, subsides into tears. His approach shifts, a gentle change in strategy. He becomes a lighthouse, a beacon of understanding, as he navigates the currents of her emotion. Reminders of what truly matters. The arm-wrestling match, now a fading echo in comparison, drift from his lips like pearls of wisdom. But understanding, like a phoenix, often rises from the ashes of pain. The girl, her voice a tapestry of trebles, confesses her struggles. Approval, like an elusive mirage, remains just beyond her reach. Mr. Lin, ever the sage, absorbs her words, comprehending the burden she bears. A new light dawns, like the first blush of sunrise on a clear day. Mr. Lin, the mentor in the making, seeks to quell her fears. He sketches the contours of understanding, suggesting that Joseph's intentions might be to sculpt strength of a different kind. A father's love, sometimes cloaked in enigma, might find its expression through unconventional paths. A tapestry of alternative approaches unfolds, a myriad of paths that lead to the same destination. Mr. Lin, the weaver of possibilities, extends his hand to guide her. By offering diverse avenues to earn her father's respect, he unravels the misconception that strength only materializes in physical form. Books, like portals to understanding, are the tools Mr. Lin offers. Titles pile up, each volume a key to unlocking her potential. Skepticism, like a mist, begins to dissipate in the presence of his sincerity. His words, like threads of empathy, weave a connection that surpasses mere strangerhood. As her armor of skepticism wanes, the girl's visage softens. The understanding dawns that Mr. Lin might truly comprehend her struggle. He becomes more than a bookstore owner, more than a stranger. He becomes a mentor, a guardian of possibility. And so, a supernatural book, Key of the Void Origins, becomes her next step into the unknown. Its pages, like gates to another realm, beckon her. But as she opens the portal, a torrent of power surges forth. Overwhelmed, like a tidal wave, crashes over her senses. The enormity of its potential becomes a beast she can barely grasp, and in haste, she shuts the portal. As thunder roars outside, a storm both literal and metaphorical rages within her. The line between reality and dream blurs, and a revelation takes root. Perhaps she has experienced a death and rebirth of sorts. Transformation, like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon, beckons on the horizon of her understanding. She grapples with the realization that this encounter has reshaped her, fundamentally altering her trajectory. Amidst the storm's chaos, a resolution emerges, like a lighthouse guiding ships through tumultuous waters. The realization that this path offers an opportunity to become stronger, even in the face of uncertainty, pierces through her apprehensions. In this epiphany, Mr. Lin, the harbinger of change, transforms from a mere observer to a catalyst. The past narrative, tainted with skepticism, sheds its shadow, unveiling a new perspective. She stands at the crossroads, ready to embrace the journey into the unknown. A shared understanding forms, a bridge between two souls once divided by misunderstanding. The girl's voice, laden with gratitude, brushes against the air. An apology, like an olive branch extended, accompanies her words. It's a token of recognition, an emblem of her resolution to transform herself and, in doing so, make her father proud. In the realm between dimensions, where reality weaves into the fabric of the surreal, Miss Jai's steps echo like whispers against the fragile boundary. A dance with peril, a waltz with uncertainty, she traverses a landscape stitched with shadows. But the abrupt awakening jolts her, as if the threads of her consciousness have been abruptly tugged. Her cries, like echoes of pain, resonate in the void. Faint imprints of her recent battle, a tapestry woven with threads of defiance, resurface in her memory. The clash with Helix, the confrontation with Yuan, they flutter like fragments of a dream too vivid to forget. Astonishingly, her body remains intact, a monument to her survival against odds that should have raised her to nothingness. She casts her thoughts like nets into the past, recalling her cunning maneuver, teleporting twice in quick succession, a desperate strategy to escape impending doom. Yet, this move, a gamble that usually exacts a heavy toll on her body, hasn't shattered her form. Awe and bewilderment, like twin companions, grip her senses. But her comrades, her fellow fighters in the fray, are absent from the tableau of her awakening. Concern, like a tempest that brews on the horizon, surges within her. A lone survivor, ensconced within the enigma of this unfamiliar room, she's cast adrift in uncertainty. As her eyes acclimate to the new surroundings, a presence, like an uninvited guest, beckons her attention. An elven woman stands before her, a figure both rare and incongruous in the Nakan region. The introduction, like an overture to a symphony, unfolds. Doris, the elven enigma, unveils herself, a key player in the drama that has unfolded. Doris, like a weaver of words, recounts the tale of her discovery. Miss Jai, unconscious and wounded, a portrait of vulnerability. Refuge, a gesture of compassion, offered within the walls of Doris' home. But the words that tumble forth bear deeper implications. Fluctuations of mana and Nakan, a witch within the dream world. The enigma, the puzzle pieces of information, cast a shadow of suspicion across Miss Jai's thoughts. The discourse takes a turn, like a river coursing through unexpected terrain. Wounds and healing become the exchange, a dialogue of gratitude and respect. Miss Jai, like a traveler on the precipice of revelation, delves further, inquiring about Doris' presence. The Iris family, a revered lineage, becomes the tapestry upon which Doris's tale is etched. Honor regained, a quest that beckons like a siren's call. Miss Jai's eyes widen, like a canvas on which memories are painted. The Iris family, their legends intertwine with her childhood narratives. She traverses the corridors of memory, stories of a witch, a dream world, and answers that elude the grasp of time. Astoundingly, her understanding aligns with Doris's account. But like an artist withholding a brushstroke, she veils her full knowledge, concealing the true nature of the magical mirror and its dance with minds. She advises caution, a ripple in the waters of the present, the rain's unusual behavior a harbinger of shadows. Admiration becomes the bridge between them, a connection hewn from the threads of their roles. The huntress of dream beasts, an unexpected affinity that conjures memories of her predecessors. The scent of burning food interrupts them, like a whiff of reality intruding upon the surreal. A plate of lamb soup, a fragrant offering, becomes the vessel of sustenance she savors voraciously. The discourse returns to its locus, the witch in the dream world. Miss Jai, a guidepost of insight, points Doris toward a man named Mr. Lin. Little does she know, this name is the key to the door she seeks to unlock. The threads of conversation weave in unpredictable patterns, like a loom that knows not the design it crafts. But fate, like a gust of wind that guides a ship's sail, finds Mr. Lin at the receiving end of a sneeze. The connection, invisible yet poignant, teases at the strings that weave their narratives together. Eagerness, like a flame that ignites the heart, courses through Miss Jai's veins. But caution, a sentinel in the labyrinth of her thoughts, reminds her of the precariousness of her state. She yearns to reconnect with her comrades, to reclaim her strength. In the cocoon of a soothing bath, she ponders the kindness of Doris, the waters a salve for the enigma that clings to her senses. In another tableau, the brushstrokes shift, the canvas painted with a different hue. Doris, like a harbinger of shadows, whispers to herself in contemplation. The illusion of omniscience, the mask of knowledge that many don, is unraveled in her musings. The cost of disappointing customers, a truth veiled beneath her exterior of kindness, emerges like an ink stain on parchment. The stage shifts, the scene transitioning to Doris's basement. A tableau of darkness, of morbid secrets hidden beneath layers of enigma. A man's body, like a marionette discarded after its dance, lies beside a goat's head, the visceral juxtaposed with the symbolic. A tableau of mystery and horror. Doris contemplates the remains, a figure poised between roles of compassion and cruelty. The aura of kindness, a mask that conceals an abyss, hangs heavy in the air. A puzzle, like shards of glass, pierces the fabric of understanding. The tapestry of her character, a blend of light and darkness, remains a riddle that begs to be deciphered. Returning to the dominion of Mr. Helix, a tempest of impatience swirls within him. The missing piece in his elaborate puzzle, a spy named Barker, gnaws at his patience like a relentless hunger. He faces his subordinate, a figure cloaked in insignificance compared to his ire. The question, like a blade poised for a strike, escapes his lips, whereas Barker, the aberrant hunter who slipped beyond their grasp. The subordinate, like a pawn caught in the crossfire, confirms Barker's absence. But confirmation alone is not enough to appease Mr. Helix's ire. He demands details, his voice, a cascade of thorns, piercing the air. Last known location, Scarlet Cult's latest whispers, the puzzle pieces he needs to solidify his grip on the situation. But the subordinate's admission of ignorance fans the flames of Helix's wrath. Frustration, like an inferno, engulfs him. His hand, like a vise closing in, clamps around the subordinate's throat. An iron grip, both a metaphor for his dominance and a literal display of his fury. His demand reverberates like thunder, each word weighted with the gravity of his displeasure. An explanation, a satisfactory one, for this gaping void of intelligence. As Helix's grip tightens, his focus shifts, an unquenchable thirst for information directing his thoughts. Charles, a subordinate's name that carries weight, a figure in the puzzle of power. His voice, barely audible, becomes the canvas upon which Helix paints his inquiries. Charles, his subordinate's words like fragments of a secret, reveal themselves. Awoken, preserved by Ewan's hand. Memories manipulated by Priest Murphy, a concoction to fit Helix's grand design. A shift, subtle as a ripple on a pond's surface, manifests in Helix's mood. A semblance of a grin, like a mask of anticipation, forms. Charles's return, an event on the horizon, a catalyst that could stir the waters of fate. Helix recalls Rat Ryan's report, a whisper from the past, a footnote that marks Charles as Old Wilder's favored disciple. A confrontation, a clash of ideologies masked by manipulated memories, looms like a gathering storm. Helix envisions the battleground of minds, a battlefield where Charles and Old Wilder lock horns, a spectacle that could usher forth the energy needed for the magic mirror's spawn to awaken. The scene shifts, the setting a tableau of snowy expanse. A figure, a man of formidable presence, strides with purpose, his staff, like a scepter of power, clutched in his grasp. Wilder, a name like an echo from the annals of time, seeks an audience with Augustus, the ancient king of mages. Power, like a siren's song, a plea whispered into the void. But a voice interrupts, a decree that renders magic obsolete, a paradox that disarms the sorcerer's quest for power. The command, like a gavel's strike, demands decay, a transformation into stone. A hand, wreathed in hues of purple, descends like a titan's hammer upon the dragon's skull. The giant mage king emerges, a figure wreathed in mystery. Wilder, like an artist presenting his masterpiece, unveils a gargoyle. The artifact, akin to the one he will later gift to Mr. Lin, is scrutinized by the giant mage king. Approval, like a gem bestowed, glimmers within the giant's pronouncement. Wilder's journey, a pilgrimage of purpose, earns him the mantle of an independent black mage. The past merges with the present, Old Wilder's thoughts a river coursing through time's landscape. Graduation, a marker of progress, a step on the path of wisdom. Understanding, like a chalice filled with hindsight, eludes his grasp. Arrogance, like a cloak that once enveloped him, flutters in the winds of memory. Consequence, like a storm brewing on the horizon, rises in his contemplation. Another memory emerges, a tableau of choices. An orphanage, a place where souls seek refuge. A nameless boy, a figure shrouded in shadows, captures his attention. Wilder, like a harbinger of fate, introduces himself, a black mage with an offer that carries weight. A choice, to stay and embrace death or to join him, a path that leads to the unknown. The boy's choice, a whisper in the annals of time, is etched into memory. He chooses Wilder, embarking on a journey that changes the trajectory of his existence. Charles, a name bestowed like a gift, a mantle that binds their fates together. Old Wilder's musings shift, like a tide that ebbs and flows. Charles and Ewan, past disciples, etched into the chronicles of his life. Charles, whose tragic death reverberates still, a wound that refused to heal. Vengeance, like an ember that smolders within him, a quest fueled by the fire of fury. The intricacies of the master-disciple bond, a tapestry woven with threads of loyalty and complexity, play out in Old Wilder's reflections. Familial bonds, like tendrils that link souls, traverse the labyrinthine corridors of his thoughts. Regret, like an anchor that tugs at his heart, grapples with Old Wilder's soul. Did his teacher, the giant mage king, foresee the tapestry of his fate, a fate entwined with Mr. Lin? The past, like a gallery of choices, looms before him. The inability to save Charles, a wound that refuses to mend, a thread that weaves through time. Hope, like a candle in the darkness, flickers within him. Could Charles have escaped through the dream world's cracks, a conduit to an unexpected salvation? Uncertainty, like a veil that shrouds the truth, veils the answers he seeks. But a knock, a disruption that ripples through his solitude, startles him from his reverie. A question, like a whispered secret, slips from his lips. Who stands beyond the door? A door known only to him and Charles. The answer, a figure cloaked in robes, a voice that utters words he thought he'd never hear again. Teacher, it's me, I'm back. It's me, Charles. Are you there? The words, like a symphony's crescendo, resound in the rain-kissed air. Charles, his voice a bridge between past and present, his presence like an apparition conjured from the depths of memory. Charles's tale, like a tapestry woven with threads of escape and survival, spills forth. The dream world's cracks, a chink in the armor of reality, became his refuge. A desperate plea, a plea for salvation, echoes in the rain's cadence. As Charles collapses, like a star falling from the heavens, Old Wilder's door swings open. The tableau shifts, a scene illuminated by astonishment's glow. Charles, the disciple thought lost to the ravages of time, stands before him. Old Wilder's gaze, like a lantern in the night, fixes upon the boy before him. And softly, a whisper that carries the weight of history, he utters a name, Charles.